Then let's call this meeting to order with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First item, approve agenda.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the minutes of September 19.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Support.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of September 19. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have September bills.
Move to approve bills.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve September bills. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried again. Number 4, accept the first quarter reports. We have the auditors.
Make a motion to accept the first quarter report from the others.
Support.
Motion made and seconded to accept the auditor's first quarter report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have payroll changes from the Sheriff's Department to remove Richard Adams effective August 30.
Make that motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to remove Richard Adams effective August 30. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We have 2 from the auditor. 1 to approve Joanne Huggins at $10.25 an hour, start effective September 19. And to hire Sharon Miller effective October 10 at $10 an hour.
Make a motion to approve the payroll hires for auditor.
Support.
Motion made and seconded to approve these hires. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried again. All right, we have this mitigation easement agreement with Phil Griffin and County Conservation. Dave or Phil or whoever wants to weigh in on this.
I don't think I need to be, I'll just,
We got chairs. You want to sit up here? Come on.
what would you like to know?
This is Mike Thompson. He's with Wetlands Forever. He's
Okay.
who we've been going with on this easement, working with. And I think you guys probably know Phil.
I've heard of him.
So what we're doing is we're doing the mitigation for the DAPL pipeline, and it's just a stretch, and part of the regulatory requirement is that we have to have a conservation easement. So I've approached Dave for holding the conservation easement and being a third party if I would ever default in the mitigation process. It's about an 8-year process, okay? If I would ever default, they would send a letter of credit that I'll have generated to him to do the work that I've done, that I'm responsible for doing. That won't happen, but we'll do that. And then there's an endowment that also goes along with overlooking the project after I'm done. So.
Now, the one we signed the other day, did we sign one? Is that one?
You didn't sign it, you approved it.
We approved it. Your board approved it then, signed it, right? But
Our
this
board
one,
approved it and Lindell signed that one, yes.
okay, now this agreement with Phil is between you and Phil. We approve it
That's
for
right.
you guys to sign.
It's
Would that be correct?
Since it's an easement, it's considered real estate, and so the supervisors have to sign that.
Okay, okay.
So Phil will voluntarily put this conservation easement on his property, and then I'll come in and do all the construction.
Okay.
on it. And it's really just a planting at this time, so. And then I'll do monitoring for a 8 to 10 year period, and then after that, once I get it's called a closeout report. Once the closeout report is finalized by the Corps, then the long-term management will shift to Dave for 15 years, or probably his his successor.
May not be there, may not be there, right?
So,
Okay. Okay,
and it's very straightforward. If you have any questions whatsoever, I'll be happy to answer.
And with this agreement, even if we should have to do something in the future, none of the money will come out of the county budget. It's already allotted in here. There's already funds provided.
That is true. You'll never have to take $1 out of your budget.
okay. Anything, questions? Mike, Mark?
No, I'm not in.
Move to approve easement.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the easement between the county and Phil Griffin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? That carried. That was simple. Do I sign one of these?
Yeah, you'll need to sign that, but there has to be a
Notary.
notary.
Can I sign this? Or would Jody do it downstairs, or can you
I
do
can
it?
notarize it when I get downstairs, or we
Yeah.
can do it when we get downstairs. I can notarize it, she can,
And you want my signature under the grantee? Or does Dave sign this? Who signs this? As chairman? Dave?
Phil signs it. Sue has to notary right there. And we.
I mean, they refer to the grantee as Mahaska County Conservation
Yeah,
Board.
grantee, yeah.
On the
Yeah,
first
he's the
page.
grantor, you're the grantee, I'm sorry, that's correct.
This is the word guarantee.
Yeah, you're the
Okay.
grantee.
Okay. How many copies would you like?
We'll just make copies, because Phil's gonna have to sign it too.
Sign that one also.
Will she be able to do the notary for both?
as long as I watch him sign it.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're the page before, I think. It's been a while. We can give that to her, and then we'll just have to fill in the dates and everything downstairs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. Okay, number 7, set a public hearing date for proposed ordinance.
Sir?
What's the reason
Come up
here
and
for
speak.
this?
This is mine. Yeah, come on up. This is for ATVs to be able to operate on county roadways. Want to introduce yourself to the board and the
My name
audience?
is Mike Sennett. I live at Keoma Village. I have a special needs son, and why I'm here is for him to, we use a reward system for him, and one of his rewards is to be able to ride, we take him for four-wheeler rides. Out there where we live, we've had several farmers that have given us permission to ride on their properties, and but I did not know this, honestly. I got stopped a couple weeks ago by the DNR, and I did not know that it was against the law to ride a four-wheeler on gravel road. And he says Mahaska County was one of the few counties around that does not have a law to do that. And so I asked him what to do, and through a whole long chain of events, I ended up here to present my case that if you would consider to allow four-wheelers and motorized golf carts to be able to be run on rock roads. And so I can take him for a ride. And one other question I would have, or one other, I guess, beg your mercy, if at all possible, and I've checked into the DNR and all this and that, is, and I know it's showing favoritism to some degree, but is there any way that I could get a permit from you folks to show that I have this? That I don't want to go out and break the law deliberately whatsoever, and we run probably 10 miles, and we go, like I said, to several farmers out there, but to be able to have a permit to carry with me that if I would get stopped again, that I have had your permission to be able to transport this boy from point A to point B. I asked the DNR officer, and he says, well, the only way you can do it is you have to trailer that. Well, I'd have to trailer my ATV from one farm to another, et cetera, et cetera. We widen the river bottom out there, And so that's why I'm asking if you would pass an ordinance of some kind that we'd be able to ride ATVs and a golf cart on the rock roads.
Because I thought several years ago, didn't the legislature pass it? I didn't know we had to have they never passed that.
I don't think it went through.
She called, I went down to Diane and she called up to the DNR in Des Moines and
Okay.
talked to them and that's right. And they said, I have to start at my local level, that's why I'm here.
He had come in a couple weeks ago, and I've had a couple of others. I'd give this to Amy Zener a couple of years ago to have her look into it, and she left in the middle of that. So I talked to Jim Blumgren, and he gave this to Terry, and Terry went through about 4 or 5 different county ordinances. We're one of the only counties that don't have that ordinance allowing people to ride on gravel roads. And so she looked at it and she came up with what she thought was the best. And Jim looked it over and he kind of gave me the thumbs up on it, at least for us to look at it and see what you folks thought.
I don't think we're one of the only ones without it. I know Lee County and I think Washington are currently looking at it or have recently, and I don't think a lot of the urban counties have it either. But as far as, from my standpoint, I don't have a problem authorizing such use. Who prepared the ordinance?
Terry. Jim's the assistant. Terry Meninga.
At first, I had an issue with the registration requirements, but I looked up this morning, Iowa code does require registration anyway.
Yeah,
So you have
whether we
to
had to do
register
that or
your
not.
vehicle
Yes,
regardless.
yes, they are registered, they will be registered.
And-
The other problem I have, I'm not trying to interrupt you, the other problem I have is he told me that, the DNR officer told me that it was also against the law to ride double on a four-wheeler unless they are a built-in back seat, and there's only one model that has that, which I do not have, but I do have a modified seat that I have put on the back for this. And again, I understand this is asking, you show one favoritism and this thing, it can never stop, but this is the only way I've got to deal with the boy on some things. And so I don't know if I could get a permit just from you guys to stating that it's okay, and I don't know if that would be legal in his eyes enough to cover that I could take him for this ride.
I don't think you can get, I think the state code probably requires that it be operated and ridden by whatever it's
Okay.
designed for.
If we could go with just the ordinance to ride on the rock road, I'll deal with the other thing. I'll take care of that.
Dave?
Golf carts don't typically have lights or reflectors or anything on there. When they're talking about off-road utilities, they're talking like gators, side-by-sides, what have you. They're built in with tail lights, mirrors, headlights, reflective. Golf carts are a little different because that's not really considered an off-road vehicle or utility vehicle. Sorry. So that would be a little bit different, and for the seat thing, that is true. It has to be manufactured, it cannot be an add-on because that has to have proper restraints, seat belts and so on.
So the only way I can get by that would I'd go get a side-by-side.
Yes.
And I can deal with that. I just want to be able to do this, ride on the rock road legally first of all, and then we can go from there. But I just appreciate we'd be able to pass that.
So one thing I think is very important to note is this doesn't affect ag use of side-by-sides and ATVs at all. That's authorized, and it's always been authorized, and this only affects recreational use. And so whatever we approve here doesn't affect ag use. So if farmers are using their side-by-side to get back from the field, whatever, that's still gonna completely be authorized and doesn't affect that in any shape or fashion, so.
Correct.
I don't have a problem with it, so I'm okay setting a hearing
Do
date.
you want, why are golf carts included in this? I mean, I'm just
They're not.
curious.
They're
I thought
not-
you said golf carts.
No,
No.
I didn't, they
Okay,
brought
no
that
golf
up.
carts, just ATVs,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought I heard that earlier.
There's some
You said
ordinances in cities with golf
Okay,
carts, but that's
okay.
not what
Yeah, I
this is
didn't-
talking about. This one, it's pretty specific on what's allowed in here.
Okay.
I'm okay setting a hearing date.
All right, I'll make a motion that we set a public hearing. When's the timeframe that we're working with there, Sue? It has to be.
I have to publish a summary before the hearing date, so we just need time to be able to do that.
Okay,
So
we did,
we could do the 17th, or we could do the first meeting in November that we have.
the 17th.
Or isn't the 17th the next meeting?
Yeah, I think you're right. There's enough time in there. Okay,
So that would be for anybody that would want to oppose this, is that correct? You'd have to have a public hearing?
well, you'd have to have people that want to speak for it or against it. It's just open to everybody.
Okay.
Both of them are before the election. That isn't gonna make much difference.
Well, whatever you want to do, we can do
Okay.
it,
You get it worked in.
yeah.
Let's just set it for the 17th.
That's the Monday morning 17th meeting, to be here to force support.
Yeah. I'll make the motion.
And we usually can't approve the whole, oh, sorry, I'll second that motion. Just wanted to say, we can't fully approve it. Usually we have a couple hearings or a couple readings of the ordinance before it becomes official, so.
That's fine.
You're probably looking at sometime
FYI.
after the first of the year.
That's fine. At least we're headed the right direction.
Anything else? Discussion? Have a motion and a second to set public hearing for ordinance number 53 regulating operation of ATV, UTVs in Mahaska County. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Approved secondary road union contract, had an email from Ann up in Des Moines from Galloway's office, and the union will stick with the approved negotiated from last fall. If we agree to it, it'll be 2 years from the 1st of July next year. Be 2 more years. And then that coincides with the contracts coming due with the sheriff's department. We kind of keep it in the same year.
I'm okay with that. Was previously negotiated and it keeps everything on schedule. If we do a 2-year contract, then begin next year.
Yeah, all right.
Okay?
Everything looked good in there.
Move
Need a
to-
motion?
Move to approve union contract with a term of July 1, 2017 to June 30, 2019.
Sounds good.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the contract. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comments?
Is that for the 3 years that it was initially set up for?
It's 2 years from next July 1st. Okay?
I've got a question about do we have a wind turbine ordinance?
We have an abatement or a tax abatement schedule.
But we don't have a set ordinance for it.
You'd have to ask Jim what we have on the books. I know we did an abatement, but I don't think we did anything to do any further regulations.
Because I had gotten a call about an ordinance they're looking at starting next spring.
What would the ordinance have in it?
Setback requirements, all road agreements, replacing of structure damage, how close you can build to a house or a facility, utilities, so on and so forth, noise levels. I have one that we created up there that we use in Cherokee and O'Brien and in Sioux County up there. If you'd like to look at it, I still have a copy of it.
Yeah. But I mean, whatever we propose, I mean, they've been planning this project and have sites for years now. And so I want to make sure we're not pulling the rug out from underneath them.
Yes, and this
So-
would just be a way of looking at the settings and the setbacks from the roads and buildings and electrical structure.
And I assume they try to be pretty good about all that stuff anyway, so, but.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Motion adjourned.
Support.
Motion made and seconded, adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
We're done.